Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here, and welcome to today's Day After episode where I talk about the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers game last night. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is an episodic series where I discuss everything about the previous Oilers game the night before. Of course, I discuss it the day after. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. It's always great to see you. I do appreciate it. Now, today's topics of discussion from the Oilers' 5-1 victory over the Vegas Golden Knights: Dylan Holloway, Leon Draisaitl, Mattias Ekholm, Cody Ceci, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and the Pacific Division, and then of course the outro. Everything will be timestamped, so if there's a specific topic that you want to jump to during the video, you don't have to watch the video from beginning to end. You don't have to try and skim through the video to find where I'm at in the talking points. I will have those broken down with timestamps. You can find that in the comment section or just by hovering your mouse or a browser scroller thing, whatever you're using on the video player, and you'll be able to find where you want to go with each chapter. All right. So, first things first, the Oilers won 5-1, and when we look at the advanced metrics at the bottom of the screen, they pretty much dominated the Vegas Golden Knights in every area of the game. Expected goals 4, high danger, Corsi 4, scoring chances 4, and Corsi 4. Now, it was a 5-1 game, and I felt like the Oilers probably could have had even more goals. I thought Adin Hill actually was playing pretty good, but the Oilers did take advantage of some opportunities, so it was nice to see, especially while the team was missing Connor McDavid, their obviously best player, and most dynamic and skilled player as well. But in saying that, Dylan Holloway, he got the call from the AHL. He was coming off a hat trick down in Bakersfield. He was slotted into the lineup in McDavid's absence, and he made his presence known right away. Dylan Holloway, in his very first shift, he skated hard down low into the left corner, and he absolutely leveled Brayden McNabb, and it got the crowd on its feet, and that set the tone for how Dylan Holloway not only was going to play his game, but the Oilers in general. They showed right from the beginning, we're not going to get pushed around. We know what we need to do to win today. We know what's at stake. We know you could be our round one matchup, depending on what happens with the LA Kings too. I liked that message sent from Dylan Holloway, and I thought that third line in general, him, Corey Perry, and Ryan McLeod, I thought they were a terrific line all night, probably the best line of the night, other than the Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, Hyman line. I thought they played very good, and for Dylan Holloway, not seen NHL action for quite some time, he made an impact in his first shift. When you're not scoring, it's good to provide something, and then of course he's rewarded with a goal later. Adin Hill in the third period went behind his net to play the puck, left it for his defenseman who was not aware that he left it for him. Dylan Holloway came in with speed, did a nice wraparound, put it under the legs of Hill, just around the corner of the post, and that made it 5-1 Edmonton. That pretty much sealed the game, but it was nice to see Dylan Holloway get rewarded for scoring a goal. His line, he was on the ice for 3 goals for, 0 goals against last night, and he played very good hockey, and Chris Knoblauch has some tough decisions now with Dylan Holloway, because whenever Connor McDavid comes back, whether that's Friday or Saturday or even after, we're still not quite sure what his timeline is. He's still day to day. If he doesn't play against Arizona, he could play against Vancouver, but with the back-to-back, I think the team has to be careful with if he is going to play, which game he plays in. He won't be playing in both games this weekend. I just don't see that as a realistic possibility if he is nursing something. So when it is time for McDavid to join the team back in the lineup, if Dylan Holloway plays like he did last night against Vegas, it would be very hard to take him out of the lineup. He's fast, he has skill, he's gritty, he can hit. He's dropped the gloves before. His biggest issue is just staying healthy, but if he stays healthy and can have an impact like he did last night, especially with that first shift of the game for him, that is very good for Edmonton. That is a good problem to have if you're the head coach, but I would like to see Dylan Holloway at least stay in the lineup for a few more games here heading into the final stretch. The Oilers have 5 games in their next 8 days. So it is quite the grind to finish off the season. But that was my thoughts on Dylan Holloway. I thought he played terrific hockey. He looked like he belonged in the NHL. And as an Oilers fan, that's all you can hope for. Very happy to see that. Now, moving on, the next player I want to talk about is Leon Draisaitl. Of course, Draisaitl was placed on that top line in the absence of his teammate and best friend, Connor McDavid. He was centering Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman, and that line connected for a couple goals, one at even strength, one on the power play. And Leon Draisaitl Draisaitl, I thought that was probably his best game of the season in terms of his two-way play on the ice. He was very responsible in all three zones. He wasn't forcing passes. He wasn't trying the goofy no-look backhand passes into open areas. He wasn't trying high-danger wrist passes to get picked off and transition the other way. And in the defensive zone, Leon Draisaitl was down low. He was supporting his defensemen, helping get the puck up the ice so that they weren't stuck in their own end for long. Of course, with, playing alongside Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's a very responsible defensive player, that also helps, but it was nice to see that they were rewarded with a goal as well. They had a lot of pressure in the second period. Draisaitl got it to Nugent-Hopkins, who ripped a shot on Hill, and the rebound bounced in front to Zach Hyman, who scored his 53rd of the season. But in terms of Leon Draisaitl's play, that is what you can hope for when, if McDavid goes down. Leon Draisaitl showed what he can do, and he is the guy to drive the top line in the absence of McDavid. He's done it in the past. His Hart Trophy winning season back in 2019-2020, the shortened season because of COVID. Leon Draisaitl was about 2 points per game when McDavid wasn't in the lineup, and he continued that trend last night where McDavid's not playing. Draisaitl, he puts a lot of that burden on his shoulders, not only as a leader but also to help drive the bus, as I would say. And Leon Draisaitl played a very good game. The Oilers are in really good hands if McDavid needs a couple more days off. And for Leon Draisaitl, that's really good to see. There's sometimes he's notorious for the lazy back check or the silly passes into areas where it's like, I don't know why he would pass it there on his backhand, but Leon Draisaitl is truly an elite talent. He is a top line player, and he's one of the best players in the entire NHL. One of only a handful of players to have, 4 or 5 40-goal seasons and 100. It's 5 40-goal seasons and 100-point seasons. So he's in pretty elite company when it comes to that category of scoring, production. He's been all over it recently, pretty much since that Dallas Stars game where I thought he had one of his worst showings of his entire career. But the whole team against Dallas really, really just took a big poop in the middle of the road, and it was awful. But since that game against Dallas, the entire team, this is the best hockey I've seen Edmonton play all season. And with missing Connor McDavid at the moment, Leon Draisaitl, he did his job and he helped pull everyone with him, and that was really good to see. Now, speaking of guys pulling the team with them, let's talk about Mattias Ekholm. Now, I did talk about him a little bit recently, but I want to talk about him even more because Mattias Ekholm, holy smokes, man. If the Norris Trophy it usually goes to a defenseman that not only produces an elite level of points, goals, assists, that sort of thing, but it does go to defensemen that also are very responsible. A lot of writers still look at plus minus as a stat that's important, and I think plus minus can be important. I just think there's better metrics that can show how good a defenseman is. But when we talk about Mattias Ekholm, he's good in everything. He has 44 points and he has a career high 11 goals now. He scored his patented skate down into the left circle and take a slap shot top glove. He's done that a few times in Edmonton, and I just love seeing it every time he does it. It's such a satisfying slap shot, and it's like in and out of the net so fast. You see the net ripple, and then the puck's bouncing 20 feet out because of how hard the shot is. You love to see it. Mattias Ekholm, he's truly the Chris Pronger of this generation for Edmonton. He's an absolute monster out there. He's called the Viking for a reason, and his play has been phenomenal. If I was a hockey writer, he would be on my Norris Trophy ballot for a multitude of reasons. He leads the Oilers in plus minus. He's a plus 43. He is second in the entire NHL in plus minus. He's only behind Gustav Forsling from the Florida Panthers. Forsling's a plus 48. Ekholm's a plus 43. But Ekholm's impact on the ice at 5-on-5, his impact that he's had with Evan Bouchard. Now, Evan Bouchard is a good player in his own right. I'm not taking anything away from Bouchard. Bouchard is so elite when it comes to generating offense, and I actually do think he's better defensively than he gets credit for, but a lot of that does come from Mattias Ekholm as well. I think they are a match made in heaven as a defensive pairing. They are a true top pairing defensive unit that the team has lacked since probably, Chris Pronger and Yaroslav Spacek back in 2006 for the Oilers. It's really, really good to see. And for Mattias Ekholm, I hope that he's given, like, I don't expect Ekholm to win the Norris. I don't expect him to finish top 3, but I really hope to see at the end of the season with the awards ceremony and stuff, and the ballots that get released, because all of the writers that vote on the awards, their ballots eventually get released to the public. I really hope Ekholm has shown some love in that category, because I think he's very underrated at what he does. Just the combination of his speed, his size, his tenacity, his physicality, and the ability to produce offense this season in Edmonton. That should not be overlooked. And of course, his on-ice leadership. He barks when he needs to bark, and he bites when he needs to bite, and all in a good way. Mattias Ekholm is someone that I would just absolutely hate playing against, especially down low in Edmonton's corners. That would be a absolute mess to deal with. And Mattias Ekholm, amazing game last night. Again, 1 goal, 1 assist. He had close to a 60% expected goals for percentage. I mean, he had, there's a thing called game score. I see it posted on Twitter all the time. He had the highest game score last night for the Oilers. So, Mattias Ekholm, terrific player. Really lucky to have him, and can't say enough good things about Ekholm. Thank you, Ken Holland. I don't thank Ken Holland a whole lot, but I will always be thankful for him trading for Ekholm last season. He's an absolute monster out there. And the next defenseman I want to talk about is Cody Ceci. Now, again, this is another defenseman I'm usually notoriously hard on for various reasons. Earlier in the season, I wanted him to be traded. I wanted him to be healthy scratched. I wanted certain guys to play above him. There was a point in the year where I was like, you know what, just healthy scratch him at this point. I am glad that Cody Ceci is turning his game around. I'm glad that he's been proving me wrong over the last several weeks. And since the trade deadline, honestly, Cody Ceci, this is the best hockey I've seen him play in an Oilers uniform. Now, his time against elites has dropped a little bit. Sid from NHL Sid from Oilers Nation did a really, really good post on Twitter. And I'm not sure if he has an article on it or not. He probably does. He's very in tune with the analytics community. Definitely give him a follow on Twitter. But he did a really good breakdown on which Oilers defensemen have been playing the most against elite competition and the least amount. Now, Cody Ceci's numbers against elite competition, those numbers have dropped, but Cody Ceci has responded by helping produce in a positive way, positive impacts on the ice against players that he should be better than, and that's what you want from your players. If they're not able to handle the minutes against top of the echelon of the NHL, when they're not going against the top players, they should be able to have an impact, and Cody Ceci's impact has been very, very good right now. He has, I think, 5 points in his last 7 games. He has a couple goals. Of course, the goal last night against Vegas, a little fluky. He kind of threw a puck towards the net. It went off of Martinez's skate and behind Hill. But for Cody Ceci, if you're going to get hot, this is the right time of the season to get hot. I thought Cody Ceci had a terrific game against Vegas. I thought he played really good against Calgary, and I thought his best game of the season came against the Colorado Avalanche. He was a +4 in that Avs game, and that was by far one of his best 5-on-5 games just in his career as an Oiler. And if Cody Ceci can keep playing like this, and even Darnell Nurse too, because they are paired together, that is a good thing for Edmonton. If Knobloch wants to lean on Ekholm, Bouchard, and to a lesser extent Desharnais and Kulak with the more elite competition, and then let Nurse and Ceci deal with everyone else with their minutes and line matchups, that's a good thing for Edmonton. I don't want to look at this as, oh, well, what are we paying Darnell Nurse for if he can't go up against another team's top line players? If we're winning games and it doesn't matter, and Nurse and Ceci are having a positive impact against the players that they're going up against, that's all I care about right now, especially when we head into the playoff season. Long term, we can discuss the logistics of the value in that, but right now the value is the Edmonton Oilers beat Vegas 5-1. They beat Colorado 6-2. They are winning games that they need to win at this point in the season. These games are a grind, but the attention to detail for Ceci, Nurse, Ekholm, Bouchard, Desharnais, and Kulak, of course, they're all going to have their moments where they look a little shaky, but at the end of the day, I can't ask for much more as a fan. Ceci's been playing good. Nurse, since that Dallas Stars game, he's been playing much better. Ekholm, of course, Bouchard, of course, with his offensive abilities, and then Desharnais and Kulak, they are quietly getting the job done. They're not flashy, and that's okay. So just wanted to mention Cody Ceci because I do talk negatively about players like him, but I also want to make sure that I'm acknowledging the positives that are coming out of those players as well. I've done that with Evander Kane in the past, and any player that is showing that they're improving, they're putting the work in, the attention to detail, and they're helping the team win, that's a good thing for Edmonton. This is something that should be celebrated, and I am doing that. So Cody Ceci, really good job. Let's hope Edmonton's defense in general can continue to play at the level that they have been, because if Edmonton plays like they did against Vegas as a full team, full unit, pretty hard to beat in any situation, and I like Edmonton's chances against anyone in the playoffs. So moving on here to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Now, of course, as I mentioned, Connor McDavid was out of the lineup, so Leon Draisaitl takes the reins at top line center. Nugent-Hopkins on his left wing, Zach Hyman on the right. I thought Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a terrific game. He set up Draisaitl for the one-timer on the power play, and then he got an assist on Zach Hyman's goal. He finished the night with, I think, a 60% expected goals for percentage. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a very good game, and his two-way play as well, very responsible. That whole top line was really good at getting back when they needed to. Pressing and pushing on offense when they could, and I thought Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had one of his best games of the season. He didn't get a goal. He did have a couple good looks. That one chance in the third, he had the puck right at the top of the crease, and Adin Hill made an early save on him. I was really hoping that Nuge could get a goal, but his game is really starting to turn around here lately too. Again, that's another player that I've been like, hey, I think we just need a little bit more offense from, but games like last night, he pitches in with 2 assists, and if he's playing at the level that he is in all 3 zones, the offensive, neutral, and defensive zone, helping his goalie out, clearing pucks, good on the penalty kill. That's all we can ask for from Nugent-Hopkins. We love Nuge. I personally love Nugent-Hopkins, one of my favorite players. He's been playing very good, and I wanted to give a shout out to Nugent-Hopkins. I don't talk about him a whole lot on these videos because there's usually, like players like Dylan Holloway, they don't get a lot of, talking time, air time, I should say. It's usually reserved for the bigger name players, but I want to make sure that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is not going under the radar because his value is very important to the Edmonton Oilers, and he had a very good night against the Vegas Golden Knights. So moving on before we end today's video, and I appreciate you if you're still watching all the way through here. I know these videos can be a little long, but I do enjoy making them, and I hope you enjoy watching them. Let's move on to a look at the Pacific Division standings. All right, so as of last night, the Vancouver Canucks, they ended up coming back. They were down 3-1 in the third to Arizona. They came back to tie the game. Arizona won in overtime. So when we head into let me just get myself on here. The Pacific Division standings here, we have the Edmonton Oilers, second in the Pacific. They are 4 points back of Vancouver, but they do have 2 games in hand. So if the Oilers beat Arizona tomorrow, Friday, and then they beat Vancouver in regulation on Saturday, that would put the Oilers in a tie with the Vancouver Canucks for first in the Pacific. Now, Vancouver does have the tiebreaker, I think, when it comes to the head-to-head. Regulation wins. So Edmonton would have to gain points after that game on Saturday, and you make sure that Vancouver is not gaining. So first place in the Pacific is still a realistic opportunity. I'm not sure if it's something that will happen, but the fact that the Oilers are in a position to be first place in the Pacific Division is, considering where they were at the start of the year, they were 5-12-1. They were 30th place in the NHL back in October, and the fact that we're even talking about them possibly maintain or winning first place in the division, that's just incredible to me. I think that should be celebrated. The Oilers have gone on an incredible run. Chris Knoblauch has this team playing very good right now. After last night's game, they are 26-4-2 at home ice under Chris Knoblauch, so he's very good at making sure that he gets the line matchups that he wants. Edmonton does not lose often at home. They are currently on an 11-game win streak at home, going 11-0-1. But when we look at the Pacific Division, it would be very cool if Edmonton could win a division title. It would be the first time since 1987. I think they mentioned that in the broadcast last night. Jack Michaels likes to bring that up. It would be very exciting. And then that leaves us with a first-round matchup either against the Nashville Predators or the Vegas Golden Knights or the LA Kings still, depending what happens. So it's going to be an interesting finish to the season. It's going to be interesting to see who Edmonton plays in round one. They likely play LA or Vegas in round one regardless, whether they win the division or not. But we will have to see. Although Nashville's been playing good, so I think the winner of the Central is going to end up playing the lesser wild card. So it would be Vegas or LA for Dallas is what it looks like. But that's all for me today, guys. That's all I wanted to talk about. I know there's like a lot there, but at the same time, I try and streamline these things as well. Tomorrow I will have a pregame report up for the Oilers and the Arizona Coyotes. So keep an eye out for that. If you are a big Oilers fan and you like daily content, I do provide daily content. However, I am starting to change things around. I think unless the content needs to be made on a Sunday, whether it's a day after video or a pregame report or something, Sundays are generally going to be my day off, but the other 6 days of the week, I'm going to make sure I'm always having content out for all of you. We passed 1,800 subscribers recently, so I just want to thank you all so much. Your support means the world to me. I can't believe how much this channel has grown since I started making videos back in November when the team was in the gutter. And I started making videos because I was so upset and negative, and I just needed like an outlet to express myself. And this turnaround has been amazing, and to experience this turnaround with this team, with all of you, I will never forget this, and I can't wait to see where it ends up. Hopefully it's with a bit of a cup hoisting above our heads. We will see. I have lots of playoff content planned for the channel, and I'm excited to share all of that once we get a little bit closer. And keep an eye out for the bracket challenge. I am going to do a bit of a Austin hockey community competition with that. I'm going to create a league, and everyone's going to be able to sign up and join the league. And first place, I'm going to make sure that there's a prize for someone. But that will be a little bit closer once we know who's playing who. But something I just wanted to tease here at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the day after video, make sure you hit like. If you really liked it, make sure you hit subscribe. And of course, make sure you tell someone that you love them today. I'll see you tomorrow on the pregame report. Take care, Oil fans. See you later.